Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys didn't know, my name is Tony and I'm a second year medical student studying in the UK. So in my last video, or one of my last videos on my channel, I said that I would talk about my clinical placement when I went on it. And seeing as I did my placement last week, I thought I'd just come sit on my bedroom floor and talk about my first week of placement in hospital. So just before I get into how I found placement, different medical schools in the UK and across the world do placement in different ways. And my particular med school, first year you don't get any hospital placement. Second year you get like 6 or 7 weeks of hospital placement dotted around across the year. And then from third year you're predominantly in hospital, but you get a couple of lecture weeks or a couple of lectures here and there. So yeah, that's why I wanted to clarify. I'm not on placement a lot this year, but it's kind of easing us into placement. You also get like half and half placement in medicine or surgery. So if you're on a surgery placement or your surgery rotation, then you need to be in 8 till 4 minimum. And if you're in your medicine rotation, you need to be in 9 till 5 minimum. Now I got the hospital that's really close to both the uni and where I live. So I'm quite fortunate that even when I have to wake up at 8 or be in hospital for 8, it's not going to be that bad. There are hospitals that people can get placed at which are like an hour away from us. So yeah, I got lucky with that one. So on to the week itself. On the Monday, I was in a group of people that had IT training on Monday. So I went to go and do IT training. Then we just had induction as a whole. So we got our NHS cards. If you're not from the UK, the NHS is the National Health Service. They're basically the people who run all the non-private hospitals in the UK. They basically run like the free health service that we get. So your NHS card is your identification for hospitals or for clinics, etc. We also get you really good discounts in loads and loads of different places. So we got our NHS cards and we just got loads of lectures about being on placement. So we had a fire safety lecture, we had a how to get the most out of your clinical placement lecture. We just had a lot of lectures to prepare ourselves for placement basically. So after the induction stuff on Monday, the rest of the week was basically just being on the wards, observing how the doctors, nurses, healthcare assistants, pharmacists, everyone in the hospital basically treats patients and does everything for patient care. So in our second year at my med school, placement is about taking histories and observing examinations, performing examinations, watching ward rounds, watching drug rounds, just getting a feel for being in the hospital. So we're not doing anything crazy like cannulation or vein puncture just yet, but it's more about getting your skills with patients down and observing how other healthcare professionals are with patients. So during the week I actually took histories from a couple of patients. I performed observations on patients. So if you don't know, observations are just basically taking vital signs. So temperature, blood pressure, pulse oximetry, which is the levels of oxygen in your blood basically. So when I took my histories, I had to actually present them back to doctors. So I found a really friendly foundation doctor on my ward and presented it back to her, and we discussed the condition that my patient had. So that's one thing really nice about placement, that you can actually talk to doctors who were in your same position maybe a couple of years back and just get advice from them and get taught by them as well, which is really helpful. And it's a different way to learning than in lectures because it's more one-on-one. So whilst on placement you also get bedside teaching, which is just when the consultant or when the doctors on the ward round teach you about the condition that a particular patient has at the bedside basically. Again, it's just a different way of learning, different to lectures, different to CVL or PBL, which I really like. The variation in how information is given to us, it keeps it kind of fresh in your head instead of just going to lectures or going to small group sessions and listening to information being taught that way. So even though I'm on my medicine rotation, I actually got fortunate enough to observe a surgery. So I observed a Whipple surgery, which is when they remove the duodenum, which is a part of your small intestine, and the head of your pancreas. So they do this surgery to often remove tumours in the head of the pancreas, but this particular person didn't have tumours, they had cysts instead. So the surgeons thought it was best to take out the head of the pancreas anyway. It's a super long surgery and it was really, really nice to observe. Like, I've never been in theatre properly before, so it was very, very cool to see the anatomy. And it also makes me respect surgeons so much, because I can't even imagine just having to know exactly where the anatomy is. Like, I barely know when I go into my anatomy sessions or when I open up textbooks. So the fact that they just know it, of course they've had years of training, but the fact that they just know it, amazing. I think the whole week was just basically me being in awe of healthcare professionals. While we were on a ward round, like observing a ward round, and this woman who'd come in to see one of the patients actually went into like insulin shock, which is severe levels of hypoglycemia, a lack of glucose in the blood basically. And it was so incredible to see how quickly all the healthcare professionals on the ward sprung into action and actually treated this woman who wasn't even an official patient of the hospital. There were doctors, nurses, healthcare assistants, everyone just springing into action and making sure that this woman was going to be okay. Even though obviously it wasn't supposed to happen, that's not what happens typically on a ward round, it was so cool to see how ready these people were for any kind of eventuality. 5 minutes after it happened, the woman was talking again, you know. They had to admit her to hospital just to check her insulin levels and her glucose levels and monitor her, but it was actually amazing to watch. And it made, I think the whole week just really resonated with me and made me convinced that A, I think I'm in the right profession, or I'm leading up to the right profession, and B, just how, I don't know, how inspiring and how amazing these people who work in hospitals are, right from the doctors, to the nurses, to the pharmacists, to the physiotherapists, and to like anyone who's working in the hospitals. Like it was just amazing to observe. So yeah, I don't think anything else too thrilling happened on my first week of placement. My next week of placement, I believe, is in December. So if this is helpful to anyone, or if this is interesting or anything, then I might do a video after each week of placement I have. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave any video ideas or video requests in the comments. Subscribe for some more like med school content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.